Thank you so much for joining us this morning for the monthly employment data release media call. My name is Emily Hetherington and I serve as Deputy Director of Communications and External Affairs for FloridaCommerce. Joining me is Jimmy Heckman, Bureau Chief for Workforce Statistics and Economic Research. As you all know, last week, 12 counties in Florida were affected by the North Florida tornadoes. Governor DeSantis has directed FloridaCommerce to activate the Florida Small Business Emergency Bridge Loan Program, making $2 million available to small businesses get their doors back open as quickly as possible. This program provides short-term zero-interest loans up to $50,000 to small businesses in Baker, Columbia, Escambia, Gadsden, Hamilton, Jefferson, Lafayette, Leon, Liberty, Madison, Okaloosa, Santa Rosa, Suwannee, and Taylor counties. Businesses can apply online at floridajobs.org/EBL. At the conclusion of this presentation, we will be taking questions from credentialed media. To ask a question, please submit it through the Teams chat feature, since we will not be able to accept questions through a private chat. We will address as many questions as possible, but if your question is not covered, please email media@commerce.fl.gov and our team will work to get you an answer. Today's presentation is focused on employment data for April 2024. If you have questions regarding other Florida Commerce topics, also use the media@commerce.fl.gov email to connect with our Communications and External Affairs team. I will now turn it over to Jimmy.
Thank you, Emily, and good morning, everybody. At 10 o'clock this morning, the Florida Department of Commerce released April 2024 labor statistics for the state of Florida, as well as all sub-state areas, including metropolitan areas, counties, and large cities. These data were produced by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics through a federal state cooperative agreement with FloridaCommerce. And these data were collected through a combination of employer and household surveys, administrative records, and statistical modeling techniques. Florida's unemployment rate, total labor force, and labor force participation rate are published under the Local Area Unemployment Statistics Program using information collected by the Current Population Survey. These statistics are based on a survey of households, and they capture information about individuals as opposed to jobs, and they are calculated by place of residence as opposed to place of work. Florida's seasonally adjusted unemployment rate in April 2024 was 3.3%, up 0.1 of a percentage point from the previous month, and up 0.6 of a percentage point from April of last year. The national unemployment rate was 3.9%, up 0.1 of a percentage point from the previous month. Florida's unemployment rate is 0.6 of a percentage point lower than the national rate and has now remained lower for 42 consecutive months since November of 2020. Monroe County had the state's lowest unemployment rate at 2.0%, followed by Miami-Dade County at 2.1%, and Gulf, Okaloosa, and Walton counties at 2.8% each. 2024, Citrus County had the highest unemployment rate at 4.9%, followed by Sumter County at 4.7% and Highlands County at 4.6%. The unemployment rate of 3.3% in April 2024 represented 361,000 jobless individuals out of a labor force of 11,095,000. Total employment decreased by 10,000 or 0.1% in April 2024 from the previous month, while unemployment increased by 8,000 or 2.3%. Florida's labor force of 11,095,000, which is composed of all currently employed workers as well as unemployed job seekers who are actively looking for work, decreased by 2,000 or less than 0.1% from the prior month. This is the first over-the-month decline in labor force since October of 2020. Here we see the over-the-year percent change in the labor force in Florida, shown in blue, compared to the United States, shown in green. As of April 2024, Florida's labor force has grown by 1.4% over the year. This was faster than the national labor force growth rate of 0.8% over the same time period. Florida's over-the-year labor force growth has outpaced the national growth rate since December of 2020. Job creation data for Florida is derived from the Current Employment Statistics, or CES survey, conducted by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. The CES survey collects data from over 40,000 Florida businesses and establishments each month to measure jobs by industry across the state. These statistics are based on a survey of employers, and so they measure counts of jobs as opposed to individuals, and they capture characteristics of employers, such as industry and place of work. Total non-agricultural employment in Florida rose to 9,949,600 jobs in April of 2024, up 45,300 jobs, or 0.5% from the month prior. This is the largest single-month increase in payroll employment since July of 2022. This figure is up 240,500 jobs from 1 year ago, which is an over-the-year increase of 2.5%. Florida's private sector employment was 8,799,900 jobs in April 2024, up 42,600 jobs, or 0.5% from the prior month. Total private employment was up 210,900 jobs from April 2023, an over-the-year increase of 2.5%. 8 out of 10 major industry supersectors in Florida gained jobs over the month. Trade, transportation, and utilities gained the most jobs over the month, increasing by 14,900, or 0.7%, followed by professional business services, increasing by 11,800 jobs, or 0.7%, and followed by professional business services, increasing by, and leisure and hospitality, adding 9,200 jobs, or 0.7%. Financial activities lost the most jobs over the month, declining by 3,400 jobs, or 0.5%, followed by other services, declining by 300 jobs, or 0.1%. The graphic here shows over-the-year change in employment by industry supersector between April 2023 and April 2024, in Florida, shown in blue, compared to the United States, shown in green. The fastest growing in Florida industries over the year were education and health services at 4.1%, followed by construction and leisure and hospitality at 3.5% each, and other services at 3.2%. 6 major sectors outpaced national trends over the past 12 months. The top 3 sectors where Florida outperformed the national growth the most were trade, transportation, and utilities, information, and manufacturing. This map shows seasonally adjusted over the month job growth by local metro area in April 2024. All 24 metro areas in Florida added jobs or held steady over the month. The Gainesville metro area grew at a rate of 1.5% in April 2024, the fastest job growth among all Florida metro areas, followed by the Homosassa Springs metro area at 0.8% and the Punta Gorda metro area at 0.7%. The metro areas that added the most jobs in April were the Tampa, St. Petersburg, Clearwater metro area, adding 7,000 jobs, the Miami Beach, Kendall metro area, adding 5,300 jobs, and the Jacksonville metro area, adding 4,300 jobs. And here we see the most recent job openings and labor turnover survey data, or JOLTS data for Florida. Please note that this slide reflects information for March 2024, which is the latest data available. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates that the number of job openings, shown here in blue, increased to 543,000 in March 2024, and over the month increased 13,000, or 2.5%, and down 18.0% from 1 year ago. There were 273,000 quits, shown here in gray, in March of 2024, and over the month decrease of 24,000, or 8.1%, and down 2.2% from 1 year ago. And there were 428,000 hires, shown here in green, in March of 2024, an over the month decrease of 9,000, or 2.1%, and up 11.7% for 1 year ago. Thank you all so much for joining us this morning for the FloridaCommerce rate release presentation for April 2024. This concludes the presentation. I will be happy to field any questions from credentialed media.
Our first question is from Jim Turner. What explains the increased jobless rate when it appears almost all sectors outside financial activities posted gains last month?
Morning, Jim, and thank you for your question. So when we think about the unemployment rate increasing while the number of jobs overall had a very strong month, 45,300 jobs. That's much more than we've seen at any other month over the past year. It's a very strong growth number compared to kind of long-term historical average growth rate. So what we think when we see kind of these two numbers put together, first thing is that it's important to remember that these are coming from two different surveys of 4,000 households on one side to come up with the unemployment rate versus 40,000 businesses on the other side to come up with the job numbers. And so it's important to remember that these are kind of inherently kind of volatile and to some degree, random samples, and that you're going to get some months where they go in opposite directions. It's important not to make too much of one month. As we see this, I think the important thing is that the totality of the numbers that we're seeing here today point to a really strong job growth month for the state of Florida.
Our next from Tom Urban. Are there any concerns given the jobless rate has ticked upward for consecutive months?
Thank you for that question, Tom. So I don't think so. And so the reason I say that is that one, the unemployment rate of 3.3% is still very low by historical standards. We're still 0.6% lower than the national rate, which is also very low by historical standards. So for the most part, we're still in a very, very in a labor market that's very favorable to job seekers right now. We just went over some of the job openings statistics from the JOLTS survey, and those point to many more job openings than there are unemployed individuals right now in the state of Florida. And so, as long as that's true, I think there's not really a concern with the unemployment rate increase this month.
And then from David Lyons, what explains the slight rise in unemployment while new jobs continue to enter the market? Is there a mismatch between openings and qualified people to fill them in?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that question?
What explains the slight rise in unemployment while new jobs continue to enter the market? Is there a mismatch between openings and qualified people to fill them?
I got it. Yeah, I understand. Thank you for your question. No, I don't think that's the case. I think that what we're seeing is, the number of we're not seeing a whole lot of getting into the dynamics of unemployment versus job openings. So I'll talk about what we're seeing versus what we're not seeing. So what we're not seeing is we're not seeing increases in unemployment due to layoffs or kind of increases in the numbers of people that are losing their jobs for the most part. What we think is happening is that it's taking a little bit longer for people to come back from unemployment once they get into it, which is part of a normal labor market process, right? We're coming back from a really, really low unemployment rate at 2.7%. We're still at a low unemployment rate of 3.3%. So it's natural that duration is going to increase moderately. We're still well below kind of the long-term historical level of the labor market churn that it would take to get people back into productive jobs. And so when you compare that to the number of job openings, I think really the important thing to compare to the number of job openings is the level of the unemployment rate, which again is 3.3%, and is well below historical long-run averages for the state. And so that number of job openings also being well above long-run averages, I think it makes sense that is happening as long as the unemployment rate stays low.
Again, thank you so much for joining us today for the April 2024 rate release. If you have any additional questions, please email media@commerce.fl.gov. We look forward to having you for our next rate release for May 2024 on June 21st, 2024. Thank you. Have a good weekend.